Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshak here, and I'm going to be going over what I think are the best budget decks. I know a video you guys really enjoy at the beginning of each expansion because there's a lot of new cards out, you're not sure what to craft, and the options are pretty extensive, right? So I've broken it down. We have, of course, 5 different classes. The first one being absolutely the cheapest deck you could possibly build because all of the cards are basically given to you for free through the Demon Hunter class. So we're looking right here at the tempo sort of combo Demon Hunter build. This is the build I played on stream. We already made a video on it. I'll include the deck guides to all of these decks in the description below. If it's not there yet, the video is coming soon. Shows 5,000 dust. That's not right at all. It's just calculating how much each card costs. But remember, you get most of these, if not all. I'm pretty sure you actually get all of these besides 2 cards for free for doing the prologue, and then you get the Sunstrider for free for just logging in right now. So the legendary you see actually is just given to you. So this point of this deck, for those of you who haven't played ladder at all, you combo a bunch of your cheap spells with a Sunstrider, you get free inner demons, and you basically can do 20 plus damage in a single turn. It also has a pretty early game minion package in it that does a lot of chip damage, so getting your opponent to 10-15 life before turn 4 or 5 is really easy. So a lot of times you just kill your opponent before you even need the combo, but if you do end up needing the combo, it's there, and it's very easy to do. This is one of the best classes on ladder right now. It's over 50% win rate, and over, I would say, 50% play rate as well. You queue into ladder, you're going to queue these almost any other game. That is because, again, it's a very free deck, very budget. It's not necessarily the hardest deck to play either, and it's really fun. So Demon Hunter is definitely a strong recommend from me. A lot of people can be like, Rob, I can't believe you're recommending Demon Hunter. It's a cancer class. It's so overpowered. Guys, Hearthstone hasn't received a new class in like 5 years. It's never received a new class. So let's stop being that guy complaining about a new class. Let's think of constructive ways to make it fair and still keep the fun aspect to it. I hate when people complain about Demon Hunter because it's a brand new class. It should be fun. Yeah, it's a little overpowered, but it's not going to be perfect when it comes out. They've been pumping out balance changes as fast as people lose nerfs and nerf guns. So I really don't mind Demon Hunter right now. I think Priest is a bigger issue. Moving to the next deck, this is one of probably my favorite out of all of these, and that's going to be the Spell Druid. Super fun deck, pretty cheap to build. Again, it shows 4,000 dust, just minus 1,600 for the Sunstrider because you get that guy for free, and it brings it down to roughly around 2,000, 2,200. Basically, what this deck does is it ramps in the early game. What ramp means is you're playing cards like the old Wild Growth and Overgrowth. You want to get to like 7 to 10 mana as fast as possible while keeping a pretty good hand. Your middle game looks like Glowfly Swarm, very similar to Token Druid. You're filling up the board with a lot of minions. You're going to buff them. You're going to Savage Roar. You're going to beat them down. The Exotic Mount Seller is a really cool card in this deck because a lot of things, as you can see, cost 2 mana or less. So playing Exotic Mount Seller and then filling up the board with a bunch of 3-mana beasts, and then following up with Savage Roar. Another combo, of course, you can do is the Kalthos, and then you go ahead and play a bunch of cheap spells. You play Overflow, you draw 5 cards. Those 5 cards are very cheap. You do it over and over again until your board is full, it's buffed, it's looking real good, and then you kill your opponent the next turn. Again, it's more of a combo deck than it is a sort of like aggressive style deck. You have very explosive turns with this deck. Granted, you can just win from sometimes playing Glowfly Swarm on turn 5. That also can do it too, but most of the time you're going to be doing the combo. I know I'm going to get questions about it. Rob, where's the Soul of the Forest? Rob, where's the second Savage Roar? Rob, why aren't you playing all these other cards? Well, in order to play other cards, guys, we have to take out cards, and currently every card in this deck is very important. So if we were to take something out and add something else in, it's disrupting what I would like to call the core package of the deck, which is ramping, staying alive, doing the combo. That's what the deck does, and every card in the deck tries to get that, to that end goal. If you want to play 2 Savage Roars, that's fine. I found 1 to be just enough. I mean, basically if your field lives, you win anyway. Savage Roar, you don't want to play this card to combo with your Exotic Mount Seller because it's 3 mana. You can't do anything else that turn unless you have your 0 mana spells. It's literally only to win. Like, you're not playing Savage Roar for combo pieces, right? You're playing it to win the game. So one of those, this deck has a ton of draw. Finding it's really not that hard. Not to say in the future we can't tech in cards like the Soul of the Forest and stuff like that. It is a good card. I just found I never needed it. And if you want to throw it in there, you can take out like a Wild Growth or a Wrath or something. But again, these cards are in the deck and they serve, a pretty important purpose. If you don't like 2 Forest States, you can take one of those out. But I really like the way this is ran, and in the video, which should again be in the description below of me playing this deck. If it's not there yet, it'll be there shortly. We did pretty damn well with the deck. Moving to the next one, this is going to be the Galakrond Warlock. So a quick note on the Galakrond decks. you can really make a budget Galakrond anything. Galakrond was given to all the players for free if you logged in during that time. All you basically need for a Galakrond deck is Kronks. Again, I didn't even include them in our budget deck because, again, Kronks is a legendary, costs 1600 dust. I'm assuming budget players don't have 1600 dust to spend, therefore we don't play Kronks, but Galakrond was a free card, so I'm going to assume you obtained a free card. Looking at the dust of the deck, 3600, this includes Galakrond as being 16, but again, he was free, so it should be around 2000 dust for this deck, not the 36 you see, because again, free Galakrond. So what makes this deck good? Looking at the first card, Sacrificial Pact. There's a ton of Demon Hunters out there, and there's a ton of other Warlocks. Sacrificial Pact, for 0 mana, lets you kill another minion and you get 5 HP. It's an insane card. They're probably going to nerf it soon, so if that happens, I may make another sort of budget deck, but until then, I wanted to get this deck to you because this deck just, it does really well against the Demon Hunters. It does really well against most other decks because of how quick it is. It draws like a freaking monster, and the Expired Merchant with the Galakrond combo, again, is also super sick. For those of you who don't know what Expired Merchant does, it discards the highest costing card in your hand, which we want to discard stuff like Hand of Gul'dan or Galakrond. From there, we kill it. It brings 2 of them back in our hand, and we can play multiple Galakronds in a single match. It also just runs the, the whole zoo package, which is a very aggressive, very resilient sort of way to play the game. You just summon a bunch of little minions, you beat them down over time, and eventually, after you've attacked your opponent with quite a few minions over the first couple turns, they kind of die. A nice little new combo, though, is the Nightshade Matron, which is the 4 mana 5/5 with Rush. She discards the highest costing card in your hand. You want to discard Hand of Gul'dan, not Galakrond. If you've got Galakrond in your hand, you do not play the Nightshade. But most of the time, because there's only one Galakrond, discarding Hand of Gul'dan is much easier. You draw 3 cards, and we like that shit. She's out, the deal is done, and you just keep throwing up on the board. Taking a look at a fun Shaman deck. I know, oh my god, Rob Shaman, you're insane. The deck sucks. Shaman just so bad right now. No. Murloc Shaman puts it down. Murloc Shaman always puts it down. Every time we do a budget deck, we always include the Murloc Shaman because it shines. Every time I play this deck, it shines. It does so well. It shits on people. They forget how fast the Murloc Shaman is. Bloodlust is an insane card. The new Totemic Reflection is great. The new Felfin is great. And we still have all of the old stuff. And of course, if you really wanted to, you could throw in a Flame Tongue Totem to this deck to make your Totemic Reflection even better. I want to say this is very similar to the Zoo deck, just because you basically just play a bunch of Murlocs, you buff them up, you hit your opponent in the face. Very simplistic deck, very easy, very cheap. You get to play Shaman, which nobody's doing right now, so you take a lot of people by surprise. They don't know what kind of Shaman deck you are until, I guess it wouldn't take them long to figure it out, but a lot of people might mulligan for Invoke. And again, guys, if you want to play Invoke Shaman, it's also a budget deck. But you got to make sure you have the Kronks if you're going to play, a Galakrond deck, besides the Warlock, because you can kind of mitigate that with Sack Pack. Moving to our last deck, that's going to be the Face Hunter. I had built quite a few Face Hunter decks and tried them on the stream, and I just couldn't get anything to work. Then this deck actually popped up recently, and I gave it a go, and it did really, really well. It's very fast, destroys the mages, wrecks the warlocks, has a little trouble versus Demon Hunter, but if you can get on the board and get like a Face Stalker, pack tactics out, and be able to stick like a porcupine, you do okay. The deck is exceedingly fast, just like all Face Hunters are. Being able to close out a game by turn max 7, max 8 is normally pretty easy for this deck, or you normally win or lose by turn 7 or 8, and a lot of the times you just beat down the decks that are really slow, like any of the Highlander or any of the slow decks. This deck just annihilates them. And again, looking at the dust, well under 3,000, and to reiterate, again, the description below will have all the deck guides for these, where I dive into detail of each and every card in the deck and, how to pilot it. This was more of just a broad kind of like, these are the decks. And then if you want more information, you can go into the description. So with that, if you have a recommendation or another sort of budget deck that did really well for you, throw it in the description. I'm sure a lot of people look there for help, especially in these types of videos where we have a lot of beginner and intermediate players wanting to, be able to play as many decks as they can and, play really good budget decks, which you guys should be able to do. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next episode. Of course, I'm Robert Warshak, and happy whatever the hell day it is.